Okay, so today we are going to discuss the MCQs or objective type of questions on chapter that is the surface and interfacial tension. These questions are important for GPAT preparation, then for NIPER, then all pharmacist examination like your drug inspector and PSIC. So the first question, it is our surface tension of the water at 25 degrees Celsius is. This question it was asked in GPAT 2016. That is the for option A, 56 dynes per centimeter. Option B, 68 dynes per centimeter. Option C, 72 dynes per centimeter. And option D, it is 82 dynes per centimeter. So the right answer is it is at 72 dynes per centimeter. So in Martin, if you remember, at 20 degrees Celsius, the surface tension of water it is given that is 72.8 dynes per centimeter. So as the temperature increases, surface tension it is decreases. So slightly the value it was less than the at the 20 degrees Celsius. Next, the surface tension can be categorized as a or and the dash dash factor. This question it was again asked in GPAT 2017. That is the intensive prob factor, extensive factor, tolerance factor, or the capacity factor. Okay. So the correct answer is option A. That is the intensive property. So intensive property means these properties it is not depends on the volume or the amount of the substance like surface tension, then your viscosity, dielectric constant. If you take a single molecule of the water or thousand or you can say 1,000 liter of the water, these properties it will remain same. So the correct answer it is the intensive properties. Next, that is our interfacial tension of the oleic acid against the water at 20 degrees Celsius is. This question it was asked in GPAT 2018. So option A, it is your 15.6 dynes per centimeter. Option B, 52.3 dynes per centimeter. Option C, 42.8 dynes per centimeter. And option D, it is 8.51 dynes per centimeter. Okay. So the value that is all the this value that is the surface tension and interfacial tension of more commonly used oil and the solvents. It is given in the Martin and these values you have to remember from the book of Martin. The correct answer that is a 15.6 dynes per centimeter. Next, surface tension usually is dash dash than the interfacial tension. So whether your surface tension it is more than the interfacial tension or less than the interfacial tension. So first option it is surface tension is lower than the interfacial tension, then greater than, then same, and none of the above. Okay. So the correct option is that is a B, that is a greater than. So what is the reason behind that? Because in surface tension, the one you can set the phase it is your gaseous state or vaporized states, and it forms a very weak adhesive type of your interaction or adhesive type of your forces. So that's why the value of the surface tension it is usually it is greater than the interfacial tension. In interface, there are suppose say solid liquid or you can say it is a liquid liquid type of your interaction it is there, so adhesive forces in that case it is more stronger. So the correct answer it is a B. Next, the interfacial tension will not exist between. So option A, solid solid. Option B, solid liquid. Option C, it is a liquid liquid, and last it is a gas and gas. Okay, so the correct answer it is your option D, that's between the gas and gas. Okay. So the interfacial tension it can be exist between the solid and solid, then your solid and liquid in like your immiscible liquids. Okay. And in the gas and the gas system interface it is generally not exist because the due to the properties of the gaseous states of matter, there are molecules are randomly moving, very weak interaction of the attraction between the forces between the gaseous molecules. So the next, which of the following is our unit or units of the surface and the interfacial tension? So the option A, that is a dynes per centimeter. Option B, that is a newtons per meter. Option C, that is a both A and B, and D, it is a moles per liter. So the answer is that is a C, both A and B. So as per CGS system, the unit it is a dynes per centimeter, and as per the SI system, the unit it is a newtons per meter. Next one is that paracore can be categorized under one of the following properties. Identify that. Okay, so this question it was asked in GPAT 2013. So first it is your additive property. Next it is your constitutive properties exist. Then it is your additives and the constitutive properties, and last it is your colligative properties. So first the colligative properties. These properties which depends on the number of molecules. Next it is the additive properties. These properties are the sum of the generally the properties, like suppose a molecular weight. And third it is a constitutive property, that is which depends on the arrangement of the molecules. Okay, so surface tension, it is not depends on the, you can say, number of molecules as we discussed earlier. So it is a both, that is your additive property and the constitutive properties. So option C, that is your additive and the constitutive properties. Next question, question 8. When the glass capillary placed in the beaker containing the water, it starts rising due to. Okay, so option A, gravitational force is less on the water. Option B, that is the adhesive force between the water and the capillary are greater than the cohesive forces in the water. Option C, that is the cohesive force in water are greater than the adhesive force between the water and the capillary. And last option, that is the D, surface of the glass is a smooth and therefore water can easily spread over it. Okay, again, the answer it is given in the book of Martin, that is the adhesive force between the water and the glass capillary, it is greater than the cohesive force in the between the cohesive forces between the water molecules. So option B, it is a correct. In terms of the, suppose a mercury, in mercury the cohesive force between the mercury molecule, it is greater than the adhesive force between the mercury and the glass capillary. So that's why mercury fails to rise inside the capillary. Okay, so all information that is given in the market. Next is the surface tension of the liquid at the critical temperature is option A, it is your 0, B, it is your 1, C, it is your negative, and D, it is your maximum. So the correct answer, it is your 0. Next, the surface tension can be defined as change in the surface free energy per unit dash dash increases. Okay, so option A, it is your volume, option B, it is your area, option C, it is your length, and option D, it is your density. So the correct answer, that is your B, that is your area. Okay, so under the heading of your surface free energy, the surface tension it can be defined in terms of the surface free energy, that is change in the surface free energy per unit area, that is increase. So option B, it is correct. Next, what is the interfacial tension is exist between. Okay, so option A, miscible liquid pairs. Then B, it is your immiscible liquid pairs. Option C, it is your both A and B, and D, it is your none of the above. So your answer, it is your option B, between the immiscible liquid pair. If the liquids are miscible, obviously the interface it will be does not exist. So the option B, it is a correct. That is interface it will be exist only between the two immiscible liquid pair. Next, the capillarized method is applicable for determination of option A, surface tension, option B, interfacial tension, C, it is your both A and B, and the last it is a contact angle. So the correct answer, that is your A, surface tension. So this is the limitation of capillarized method, that is it is only applicable to determine the surface tension. You cannot determine the interfacial tension by using the capillary rise method. Next, in a Deneuve tensiometer, the ring is made up of. Okay, so from what this ring it is actually constructed. So option A, it is your gold. Option B, it is your silver. Option C, it is your platinum iridium ring, and D, it is your copper. So again, the answer is given in the Martin. Option C, that is a platinum iridium ring, because this metal it offers the highest resistance for the corrosion and interaction with the most of the solvents. Okay. Next option for question 14. As per the Langmuir adsorption isotherm, the rate of adsorption is proportional to. Okay. So in Langmuir adsorption isotherm, 2 points are there. That is a rate of adsorption and rate of evaporation. Okay. So the in case of the rate of adsorption, it is proportional to option A, occupied spots, B, it is your unoccupied spots, and option C, it is your pressure, and option D, it is your both B and C. So if you remember the equation, and the option D, it is a correct, that is a both B and C. That is a, it is a proportional to unoccupied spots that is present onto the surface, and also it is proportional to the pressure. Question 15, that is your weak adsorbate adsorbent interaction can be characterized by. Okay, so type 1, option A, type 1 adsorption isotherm, B, type 2 adsorption isotherm, option C, type 3 adsorption isotherm, and option D, that is type 4 adsorption isotherm. Okay, so again, 5 types of the adsorption isotherm are there, and each one it is characterized by the special type of here. Depending upon the nature, the type of the adsorbate and adsorbent. So here the correct answer it is your option C, that is the type 3 adsorption isotherm. Next is your non-polar substance will be solubilized in dash dash in the micelles. Okay, so your non-polar, if your substance, if it is a non-polar in nature, then in which part of the micelles it will be solubilized. So option A, it is a polar surface of the micelles. Option B, non-polar inner core. Then C, it is a palisade layer, and option D, anywhere in the micelles. Okay, so again the phenomena of your like dissolves like, if your nature of the substance, if it is a non-polar, then it will be solubilized in the non-polar inner core. So the option D, it is a correct, that is a non-polar inner core. Question 17, which class of the surface active agents is used in the pharmaceutical industry due to less toxicity? Okay, so these are the four types of the, you can say it is a surface active agent or surfactant. So first it is a cationic, B option it is a anionic, option C non-ionic, and D it is a amphoteric. So as you know, that is where option C non-ionic, due to the less toxicity, these substances are preferred over the cationic, anionic, and the amphoteric type of the surfactant. Next, spreading coefficient can be defined as, okay, so option A, difference between the work of cohesion and work of adhesion. B, difference between the work of adhesion and the work of the cohesion. Option C, difference between the cohesive force and the adhesive force. And option D, it is a difference between the adhesive force and the cohesive force. So if you remember the definition of the spreading coefficient, you will, that is the equation is the spreading coefficient S is equals to WA minus WC. So WA stands for work of adhesion and WC stands for the work of cohesion. So the correct answer is B, the difference between the work of adhesion and work of cohesion. Next, the HLB value of that is of is of given surfactant, it is between 10 to 11. It acts best as, this question it was asked in GPAT 2014. So option A, that is your solubilizer. Option B, that is a O by W type of emulsifying agent. Option C, it is a W by O emulsifying agent, and option D, it is a detergents. So if you recall your HLB scale, then you will get the answer, that is from the 1 to 9, it is a W by O type of emulsifying agent, and from 9 to approximately it is a 15 to 16. Okay, so it is a O by W type of the emulsifying agent. Okay, so water will be in the external phase and oil it will be in the internal phase. So the correct answer is B, that is a O by W type of emulsifying agents. Next question, HLB value of the tragacanth. That is this question again it was asked in GPAT 2018. So it is a 4.7, option B 8.7, option C 13.2, and option D it is a 14.2. Okay. So again, the values of the most commonly used surfactants, it may be asked in your GPAT examination. So try to remember the values of the most commonly used surfactant, like your tragacanth, then acacia, twin, span, then your bleach, then your polyethylene glycol, then your mirch. Okay, so these are the surfactants which are most commonly used. Their chemical name, their HLB value that you have to remember. So here again the option, that is your C 13.2, it is correct. Again it is given in the book Martin. Next it is a 21. What a negative adsorption would do. Okay, so in as you know, that is the adsorption. The adsorption of the liquid interface, it can be classified into two types: positive adsorption and the negative adsorption. So if your type of the adsorption, if it is a negative, then what will happen? This question it was asked in the GPAT 2013. So first it is a decrease of the surface free energy as well as the surface tension. Option B, increase the surface free energy as well as the surface tension. Option C, that is a decrease of the surface free energy but increase in the surface tension. And option D, that is an increase of the surface free energy but decrease in the surface tension. Okay, so the positive deviation and the positive adsorption and negative adsorption, what exactly it means? So positive adsorption means your substance preferably gets adsorbed at the surface or the interface, and its concentration it is more in the surface and the interface, while in the bulk the concentration it is less. It is called as positive adsorption. And the negative adsorption means that is the concentration of the substance, it is more in the bulk, and it is less at the surface or at the interface. So what will happen, that is like your surfactant. If you take the example of your surfactant, these surfactants it will get, so you can set the partition in favor of the surface, means its concentration it is more at the surface or the interface, and that's why the surface tension or the interfacial tension it is decreases, and at the same time the surface free energy also it is decreases. This is in case of your positive deviation. So exactly opposite in case of your negative deviation, that is the surface tension, it will be surface tension and the surface free energy both are increases. Okay, so option B it is the correct That is increase the surface free energy as well as the surface tension. Again the same, you can say the paragraph, it is given in the multi, so remember it. Next, HLB of the span and the twin can be determined by which of the following equation? This question it was asked in GPAT 2016. So option A, it is HLB is equals to E upon 5. Then option B, HLB is equals to E plus 5, E plus P plus 5 divided by 5. Option C, HLB is equals to 20 in bracket 1 minus S upon A. And HLB last option, HLB is equals to summation of hydrophilic group number minus summation of lipophilic group number plus 7. So here, as per the equation, you have to remember that is the option A, that is your E plus 5. So here E, it is your you can percentage of the oxyethylene chain. Okay, so HLB option B, that is your E plus 5. So E already we discussed. The P, it is your the percentage of the polyhydric alcohol. Then option C, in that the S, it is a saponification number, and A, it is your acid number. Okay. So first of all, you have to remember the chemical formula of the chemical nature of the twin and the span. So majorly, it consists of the polyethylene and polyoxyethylene and polyethylene. So majorly, it is determined by the equation, that is option B is more correct compared to this. Okay. So the option that is your B, HLB is equals to E plus P divided by 5. HLB value of the weighting and the spreading agent is, again you have to just remember the HLB scale. So option A, it is a 13 to 16, then option B 16 to 18, then option C 1 to 3, and option D, it is a 6 to 9. So the correct option, it is a D 6 to 9. So generally 1 to 3, it is a anti-foaming agent. Then from you can say it is a 3 to 9, it is a W by O type of emulsifying agent. Then from 9 to 6 to the 17, it is approximately, it is a O by W type of emulsifying agent. Then between 6 to 9, it is a wetting and the spreading agent. Then between 13 to 16, these are the detergents, and 16 to 18, it is a, you can say it is a solubilizing agent. So likewise, you have to remember. So here the wetting and the range for the wetting and the spreading agent, it is a 6 to 9. So option D, it is correct. Question number 24, chemically span is. Again, you have to remember the chemical nature of the most commonly used surfactant, like your span, then twin, then breach, and the merge. Okay, so the first option is your sorbiton ester of the fatty acids. Then option B, polyoxyethylene sorbiton ester. Then C, it is a polyoxyethylene lauryl ether, and D, it is a polyoxyethylene monostearate. Okay, so the correct option, it is your A, sorbiton ester of the fatty acids. So this is span. Option B, it is the chemical name of the twin. Then C, it is your polyoxyethylene lauryl ether. It is the breach. The last polyoxyethylene monostearate, it is the Mirich 45. The last question, that is the twin and the span are the example of. Okay, so option A, cationic surfactant. Option B, anionic surfactant. Option C, non-ionic surfactant, and last, that is the D, amphoteric surfactants. Okay, so these span and twin, these are belongs to the class of, that is a non-ionic surfactant. Okay, so we are using most widely, we are using the twin and the span series in pharmaceutical industry because they are non-ionic in nature, and non-ionic surfactant, they are most compatible and less toxic compared to the cationic and the anionic surfactant. So likewise, you have to remember. So this is the end of your part one, that is the MCQ on the surface and interfacial phenomena, or interfacial surface and interfacial tension. If you like this video, then kindly do like, share, and subscribe my channel for more related videos. Thank you.